I didn't really have any views of God at the time. I was just more like, Dad said so to go to church. I was aware that there was a God, but I didn't believe in him or I didn't believe him. But and then eventually around, I would say 16 or 17, I just completely stopped going. Purposely, knowingly knowing that there is a God, I went on this destructive path. Just every day the same old thing, wasting my money on drugs, partying. It was actually, I would say, I started doing hard drugs after the death of my brother. That's when really I just completely hated God after that moment. I smoked this so-called synthetic marijuana, and I OD'd. I died, and I would say I did talk to God, and he asked me why I hated God, why I hated my life so much. After I explained, I don't know how long I was in this state of existence, but after I explained why I hate my life so much, he told me, at least it's not the end of the world for you yet. I remember those words exactly. And after he said those words, I would say with a snap of a finger, I ended up back in my body. That's when I realized that there is a God and that he's watching over me. So I was like, I'm going to start going back to what I was taught as a child. So I want to go back to a church. So I asked Pastor Bill or Pastor Tyler to find me someone who I could talk to or someone that I could confide in. And Erwin stepped up and decided to do it. From there on, we would meet up every Tuesday, and of course, honestly, I sometimes would bail out on him, but he was still there for me. I even invited them on my birthday party, and we had a great time. Erwin and Don were there for me throughout my whole trip. And of course, that should have been my turnaround point, but no, I kept on going the same path. Of course, I loved my old life way too much to let go. It just came back to the point where I just asked for help. And so my church helped me out. They sent me to a program called Teen Challenge. It's a year-long program, of course, but I only stayed there I stayed there for a month. And one of the leaders told me there was that faith is a choice. You make a choice. You either believe or you don't. So from there, that moment, I decided to believe. And while I was there, I did get off the drugs I was on. I did stop doing whatever I was doing in the past, but while I was there, I did find faith. I made a decision to leave when I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And a thought runs through my mind. I was like, hey, but remember your friend Peter lives here somewhere in Seattle. Why don't you give him a ring? He received me with open arms. Didn't even charge me rent. He said I could stay here as long as I want to. He's a Christian person. That's the only reason why I even called him, is because he's a brother in Christ. Things kind of got hectic around there, and it wasn't working out, so eventually I ended up on the streets. I lived on the streets for like 2 weeks in Seattle. It wasn't easy. It wasn't hard, though, because I had God on my side. The whole period I was in Seattle, Teen Challenge, my friend's Peter's house, getting a job at Safeway, being on the streets, homeless. That was all God leading me. I ended up being back home right here in my home church, and I'm really happy. I know part of being a Christian is to get baptized, and the more you know him, the more you trust him. And he put a lot of people in my life throughout my whole spiritual journey that actually were there for me to keep me spiritually in check, so to speak. Erwin, you, Pastor Tyler, a lot of the people who kept in contact with me from Slavic Baptist Church. There was this Alexei Bulanov. He would meet up with me on some regular basis. I would say only a person who is in Christ would actually take the time to pick up some kid who doesn't want to listen to anyone, who wants to just listen, just wants to live his own life and go out and party every day. Only people in Christ would actually take the time to sit down with a person like that and hear him out and see how he's doing. I could have gotten baptized, but what good could have done that to me? I still have been on the same path. I wouldn't have trusted him. I would have believed that he is there, but I didn't believe him. But now I believe in him. Now I trust him. And now, before I wasn't ready to get baptized, now I'm ready to get baptized.